Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm glad you found me. One thing I want to share with you before you watch any of my other stuff is just how much of a pleasant experience YouTube has been. I mean, it's nothing but positivity all the time. I mean, it's like I just made a million friends. So, you know, I like to think that my own positivity is what's led to all this positivity that I receive on YouTube on a daily basis. It's great because I find that just by asking people to subscribe or to share my stuff or to watch my videos, they just do it. I mean,
come on, Johnny. I told you, Johnny, you gotta subscribe and watch my shit. Watch my shit. Get it up.
It's crazy how convincing just being polite once in a while is.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Glam Bodybuilding, and today we're going to talk a little bit about, sorry, closing the door, trying to get my coordination down. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Smith machine squats and how to do them if you're getting knee pain, or maybe some adjustments that you can make during the Smith machine squat. Because I just had somebody reach out to me and they sent me a message and said they like the Smith machine squats because they have to squat on the Smith machine because of various injuries and things that have happened to them. And I do know a lot of people that do like to use that as one exercise in their program. Maybe they like to do free weight squats, but then they like to go to Smith machine from time to time. But this guy was saying that he is getting knee pain from the Smith machine squat. So this is something to talk about. And there are a number of different reasons why this might be happening. And yeah, just one second, I just got to go to the shed to get something here. I got to do a couple of errands today. And basically, as I'm talking about this stuff, maybe I'll take you along. Let me see here. Where's the shovel? Where's the yeah, I just had to get the shovel. So yeah, I'm just taking this on the, I mean, it's a barbell. Just taking a barbell with me. Nothing really important. Nothing to see here. Just some complication around a subscriber slash non-subscriber guy. But anyway, yeah, so when it comes down to Smith machine squats, there are some common mistakes that I see people make. One is they assume that they should be squatting straight up and down because they're on a Smith machine. So there should be absolutely no forward lean to their torso. So that is a big mistake, because what happens is that they start to get a little bit more travel or shearing force on the knees because of that. I gotta do something. So shearing force on the knee is something you don't want to have a lot of. And yeah, too much shearing force, then you're gonna get knee pain. And this is gonna be different for everybody. So different people will have to bend over more or less than others during the Smith machine squat. So it's normal to have this variation, so there's not like just one size fits all, but at the same time, it is a common practice for people when they do a Smith machine squat to assume that they should stay straight up and down. You know what, let's talk about this later. I gotta go. There's only so much light, so I gotta take advantage of this. But yeah, we'll talk at another location here. Yeah, I'll see you in the next shot.
So the thing is with squatting, a lot of people, when they first start, don't understand the rules of counterbalancing. They just hear that if you bend over, then your lower back is going to be an issue. Meanwhile, it's totally natural for the body to bend and move in certain directions. It's just a matter of, do you have the proper form when you do this, right? So bending over, if you have a slight arch in your back, or you're keeping that spine at least flat, if not slightly arched, to maintain that lordotic or arch, you're going to be fine when you bend over. It's just a matter of, do you want the bending over of the movement to be more pronounced than the bending of the knees and the movement around the hips.
It's a good day, isn't it? It's a good day. Just beautiful. Foggy. It's hard to see people or events from a distance. Yeah. So as I was saying, it's common for people to assume that during Smith machine squats that their upper torso can stay straight up and down, like totally vertical. And although you can do that on the Smith machine, it's not necessarily the best way to keep the pressure off the knees, especially if you already are prone to knee pain. Now, if you can do it with no knee pain, everything like that, fine, go ahead. I'm not saying to change your technique if your technique's working for you. But if you are complaining of knee pain, there are a few things that you can do. One is bring your feet back a little bit, so that way your upper torso is bending over a bit, and therefore you are putting some of the stress on the hamstrings and the hips. This will reduce the shearing force on the knees and allow you to be able to squat. It's still going to be different than free weight squats, but it's going to allow you to squat with more pressure on the hamstrings, therefore protecting the knees. And it's the way I have to squat on the Smith machine. Now, another thing you can do is a wider stance, or change your width of your stance underneath you. I still recommend that you don't have the feet in front of you too much, but at the same time, experiment with your stance. Don't necessarily stick to one stance or another, because remember, it is pretty much a machine, so you're restricted in certain ways. So you want to adjust your width of your stance or not, depending on what feels right to you or what feels right to your knees. So sometimes people get into the bodybuilder mode and they get too creative. And when you get too creative, sometimes you cause yourself some pain or some impingement or shearing force or whatever, right? So I'm not saying that one way is the wrong or one way is right, but it's a matter of how your hips are and whether they open or not, and sometimes cause them to have to open up their stance more and point the toes outwards more so than straight forward, right? So also mess around with your foot positioning. You know, point them out at a 45-degree angle, point them forward, see which part or which way feels right to you. Now, another common thing, like an extreme circumstance, that I've seen on the Smith machine is that people lean right back into the rack and they bring their legs way forward, so that way they get that extra quad stress. Now again, if this isn't hurting you, no problem, keep doing it. But if you are getting knee pain, you definitely want to avoid doing that, because by leaning into the rack, you're actually not activating the hamstrings at all, and you're going to get excessive shearing force on the knees. So don't do that to yourself. Make sure you bring those hips back, bring the feet back. Maybe the feet are right under you, or maybe they're forward a little bit, but there's still a little bit of a bend over when you're squatting, right? So this is something to keep in mind when you're doing Smith machine squats. I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. Mountain. You can't hear anything back there, can you? Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, chariot, coming for to carry me home. Oh, you're awake. Now look at the mess you got yourself in. This is all because you didn't subscribe, didn't click notifications, and now this is where you are. So consequence, man. Consequence. Snowflake generation. Don't understand consequence. You should probably be asleep for this.